The Edmonton Oilers finally made a move for a goaltender. Conner Ingram from the Utah Mammoth is coming back to Edmonton. Welcome back to Hockey Talks. I'm Carl. That is Dave. Uh, will this make McDavid stay now that they have some change in goaltender? I don't know if it's a huge change where Conner Ingram will going to place, if he's going to replace one of the two. If I would to guess, it would probably be Calvin Pickard, and Stuart Skinner would be still the lead goaltender for Edmonton. But will this
At
help
least they're
McDavid?
trying.
They're trying something,
They're trying
right?
something. Now, Ingram, he's a pretty solid goalie, .9 average, I want to say, throughout his career. And he's played 4 years. So he's very, very young. We all know a little something about goaltenders. Usually they reach their prime in like their 30s, the 35. From what I see, anyways, they're a lot later blooming than like a forward or a defense or any other skating position.
Yeah.
Whether it has something to do with just them seeing literally more shots, more training camps, or what it is. But let me ask you a question. Do you think Conner Ingram, if he plays, let's say for the first year, let's say 20, 30 games, second year, maybe a little more, and keep on going over the next 5 years, do you think he'll be better or worse?
Then Calvin Pickard?
No, than right now.
Then right now. If I think he'll be better.
Yeah.
I think he will be better, right? He didn't play a whole lot of games last year, right? He took some time away, and then he was in the Players Assistance Program for the end of the season, which he's been reinstated in August, so makes him eligible to sign with a team, which he was at the end of his, close to the end of his contract anyways. Utah is buying out a portion, $800,000 of his $1.87 million contract left in there. So, Utah is retaining some of that salary, and it's for future consideration. So I think Conner Ingram is going to start in the AHL, right? Probably get back up to speed and all that kind of stuff. But where he goes from there, I don't know. I would assume the plan would be to have him correct the roster at some point.
So you don't think he'll replace Pickard for backup?
He probably will eventually, but
Not
at the
this year?
same time, Ingram is definitely a younger goalie, right? And I think he will replace Pickard because Pickard's an older goalie, right?
Yeah.
They had him in. He played pretty well when he needed to, especially in the playoff games. When he took over for Stuart Skinner, I don't think he can keep doing that same thing over and over again. They do need to get something different in for goaltending wise.
It makes you think, though. Obviously, they see something in Ingram that I don't think common people like us see. Whether it's his aptitude for learning and being better. An analogy or an example I always like to use is Fleury. Fleury, he just did play his last game, and he won. He saved 20 shots out of 21. They won 4-1, and he's an absolute gem. He was asked about if he's going to keep playing, and he said, "No, my hip hurts. I'm going to take a year off." So we'll see.
Take a year off. What was that?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, if he said that, I just... We'll see if he ends up coming back. But he's who I think about, because in the beginning when he was playing with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, and the core four kind of thing, he was not that good. And I remember he was not as good as people maybe made him out to be, like stats wise. Yeah. But then he kept learning and he kept getting better and he kept getting better. And he is just insanely talented. He's still really, really good. He's like vintage Brodeur kind of good. Mm-hmm. And it makes you wonder, do they see something in Ingram where if they put a lot of time into in the next couple of years, they can see a goalie like that kind of popping out of the clouds?
Well, if you look at Conner Ingram, he spent the majority of his career with the Arizona Coyotes, right? And that team in front of him wasn't great. And all that turmoil about whether moving from arena to arena and playing the university arena, right? I mean, that can't be great for confidence. And when you know you have a team, you never know where you're going to be playing, right? Confidence in the upper management and all that stuff. And then moving to Utah, maybe you could get better. But having a team like Edmonton in front of him, I think would probably help him a lot, right? Because I think he's a very, very good, very talented goaltender. But once you put a team in front of him that can play, such as Edmonton, I think he's going to be great.
That's a good point.
I think
that's actually a really good point. He's played and he's gotten a .9 goals against average, or save percentage, and he has not played in front of a very talented team.
No.
Similar like San Jose Sharks, right? Yeah. So imagine if you put him on a different team where even the defense is a little bit better. You got to think that that's only going to get a little, like, go higher to a .9192.
Oh, absolutely.
And what's going to happen at that point? So immediately, I actually, now that you brought that up, I want to say that he would be a better goalie to have as a backup than Pickard.
Oh, I think so too. Younger, right? He's got
Yep.
a lot more room.
4 years under his belt. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like he's a young guy still, and he's still able to develop him into a goalie that you want to see in the NHL, right? Not to say he isn't already, but being under different management and being on the group that he will be under through the Edmonton Oilers, you can only imagine that he will perform or be able to play a lot better, and his numbers will improve drastically to what he was with Arizona.
Yeah.
So I think a good move to bring another goaltender in finally for Edmonton. They're finally making a move on that, which we've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
That they need to do because
for a reason,
relying on Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard to get you to win a Stanley Cup hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
And I think they just got lucky that they were able to make some saves when they did and get them to that point.
Well, it makes you think, though, is this going to be enough that McDavid will stay aboard?
Well, I don't think so. But
you don't think so?
Well, I don't think the goalie, well, maybe addressing the goalie would help. But it's going to take some time from Conner Ingram, I think, to be able to step into that role, right? As for now, McDavid's contract is coming up really quick. And he still hasn't signed a deal. And the season starts in a week. So, will he sign a deal before that?
But I could see their tactic, though. Well, really quickly, I don't think he's going to sign a deal before that. Do you?
I don't know. There's some rumblings that maybe he will sign a short-term deal because he doesn't want it to be a distraction, right? That's the one thing he said he does not want to happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can never believe what people say. You have to believe what people do.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I've learned is you can't trust what people say. People say whatever is going to ripple the water the least amount. You know what I mean? Make the least amount of splash.
Yeah.
And so it makes, like, the tactic that I think Edmonton could be using here is bring aboard a goaltender, but not like, don't pay a crazy amount of money for one. But then you say, hey, listen, we got a goaltender, a young guy who's really, really talented. Let's build a team around him, planting that whole Pittsburgh Penguin with their core four that we just barely talked about, saying that they kind of played together, matured together, won some Stanley Cups together, and on from there. So if they were to say we brought aboard Ingram, he's been in the league for 4 years, we're gonna put him in front of us a more solid team, and where he's gonna be in 2 to 3 years is gonna be a prime goalie, like goaltender. Maybe that's enough to, I guess, twist his arm, McDavid's arm, to sign for another 3 years just to see how it pans out.
Yeah, well, he wants to win a cup, right? And if you can put the pieces in place that will help him do that, he will stay. But if he doesn't see any of that, anything changing to help him to actually win that cup, he's out.
So do you think that them bringing aboard Ingram is an easy way out, or do you think it's like an actual good strategic play? Bring aboard a player that you don't pay much for because they're tied up with their contract with Nurse. They don't have a lot of extra money to go throwing around. And grow him into a really, really solid goaltender. And then flaunt that whole 3-year plan to McDavid to hopefully keep him for another 3 years.
Hopefully keep him for another 3 years, yeah. I think it's a good idea, right? Because there's not a whole lot of goalies out there right now that you want to get and replace Skinner right away, right? So if you can get a guy in like Conner Ingram and you can develop him to be a number one goaltender, which he was in Arizona, but Edmonton's a little bit different story, right? If you can get a guy like that and get him prepped to take over Skinner eventually, I think that's a good idea and a future plan that maybe McDavid will want to stay.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. It's a possibility because I think he wants to, Connor McDavid, I think wants to see that there's a plan in place to improve this team and there's a chance that he can win that cup.
Now here's the biggest thing though, right? McDavid's going to be given a choice. And he's gonna look at it one of two ways in my opinion. He's going to look at like, hey, we just signed a goalie. This guy's going to be nuts in 3 years. We just got to train him up. But you can be a part of that growth. You can be a part of the whole building. Or is McDavid going to see right through all the politics of it and say, no, you guys need an actual goaltender, one that is less or is more money than 1 million, 1.8 million per year, and he's gonna see right through it and just wanna leave anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
and then it's like there's the whole trade dilemma where if he doesn't sign, well, maybe they'll just trade him away, and that's a whole other topic. But my question, I guess, would be: do you think that Edmonton is just telling? Is this something that they do to try and tell McDavid that they're trying to fix the team, or do you think McDavid's going to see right through it and not want to stay because of it?
Well, I think there is somewhat of a plan for that, right? Somewhat of a plan to try to improve this team no matter what, and hoping that McDavid sees that in that way. Well, hopefully have him sign a contract, right? I don't think it'll ever be a long-term contract if he does sign a contract, but it's a step in the right direction to see that Edmonton is trying to move forward and listen to the concerns that people have had over the years about goaltending, which has been a really, really big issue in Edmonton over the last few years. So the fact that they are bringing somebody in finally proves to me that, they are trying to improve this team and hope that McDavid will see that as that and sign with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the thing I was trying to say is, I mean, could Edmonton do better things to try and bring aboard a goaltender? And if you don't know, the reason why we're so focused and honed in on this goaltender stuff is because that's one of McDavid's requirements in order to sign, is they need to do something about the goaltending. Because if you're unfamiliar, the past 2 years, the goaltending in the playoffs has not been ideal.
No, it has not.
It could be far better, but they're tied up in a bad contract or two, and they don't have necessarily all the money. So on the one hand, McDavid might say, hey, you haven't done enough, I'm out of here. And on the other hand, he might be like, okay, you guys are doing the right things, and maybe just try to stay on them more often, and a little bit of trust, I guess, again. But then it's like, well, McDavid's been there for 10 years already, and he's trusted them for 10 years, and you know
what's happened.
They could see, might see it as like, hey, these guys are trying to take advantage of us. Nonetheless, Kaprizov just signed a new NHL record contract for how much was it?
17 mil a year. Yeah.
For 8 years.
8-year contract, 17 mil a year. So does that now?
Yeah.
That's a big contract for Kaprizov. You heard earlier that he declined. Well, it was reported he declined a $16 million contract through them for 8 years as well.
I can't believe he declined that too.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know. It could have been like an agent thing because his agent was handling all that, sure. And he had nothing to really do with that, and his agent declined it, kind of thing. But apparently, he was embarrassed about it and about declining such a big contract, and didn't want to feel like, he wanted all about the money and not about the team. Apparently, he still cares about the team and team first. But he signed a $17 million contract for an 8-year deal.
Yeah.
Now, that puts in perspective, now that Kaprizov's signed, does that leave the door open for McDavid to now sign before the season starts, now that he knows what he can sign for?
Yeah. And that makes you wonder, is that the kind of player McDavid is? Is he all money? And how much is he run by his agent? Because agents, they're all about that thing. They're all about that money, right? Yeah. But it's just very, very surprising to see a player like that go for 17. And, I mean, some guesses are McDavid's going to be getting 20 if he re-signs. Like, it wouldn't surprise me to see him get 20.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
He's going to break those twos,
He's going to break that. Yeah, probably be very, very close to that.
And so, the thing is, if he lets his agents rule him, you'll see that it is going to be about money. And so if other teams come in and offer him, let's say, 21, and Edmonton offers him 20, how much more likely do you think that he would leave Edmonton for money?
I don't think that's the case at all.
It would be a combination of money and frustration.
Frustration, yes. I think it'd be a lot of frustration. I think he wants, like I said before, he wants to win a cup.
But what if it were to be
any chance he can get to win a cup?
What if it would be 20 mil or 21 mil with Colorado Avalanche?
I think he signs there.
Yeah.
I think he signs there for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Can Colorado afford that? Maybe.
Any team could afford it. They'd make it work.
Yeah, they would make it work.
Try to.
They would try to make it work, yeah. But, yeah.
Even the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Think the Leafs would? Probably.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting that they just picked up Reimer.
Yeah.
He was playing with Buffalo Sabres. He's got about a .9 goals or save percentage as well. And the one thing that Toronto always needs is a good backup goaltender or a main goaltender. I mean, we have the one good one, but or all right one, semi decent one.
Yeah.
But it would be really interesting to see Edmonton make a trade just to balance things out between McDavid and Ingram for Matthews and
Balance
Nylander.
that trade out, yeah. Yeah.
Like to give him a little extra, little carrot, dangle a carrot.
Well, yeah. I don't know if that trade would happen. That would be awesome to see that trade happen. But it's that would be quite the blockbuster trade to have. Well, Conner McDavid and Ingram.
Yeah. Matthew and Nylander.
Matthews, yeah. Matthews, but they would keep Reimer.
Well, then they would just get rid of him. I can't believe they went with Reimer over top of Ingram if he was available.
If Ingram's available, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you go for a younger goaltender rather than bring back Reimer, right? That's puzzling to me a little bit.
But that makes you think. That makes you think. What's like? Did Toronto try to go for Ingram and he was already taken?
Or maybe. But at the same time, maybe it's just a short-term thing with Reimer.
Yeah.
Because you know that Joseph Wall is going to be back eventually.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is ever since this Price stuff happened, you never know when they're going to come back, if ever. Because if they're leaving for personal reasons, it's like, yeah, you could get things fixed up, but it might take 3-4 years.
Yeah, it could be a while, right?
You never know.
Yeah.
You almost have to assume the worst.
Yeah, that's true. And James Reimer, I don't know how well he did last year. I'm not sure what the stats were. Buffalo Sabres, I couldn't imagine.
A .901 or something.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him doing all that great or how many games he played last year.
Him and Ingram were equal, in my opinion.
Yeah, pretty equal. Yeah.
That's what the benefit.
Ingram's a lot younger though.
Exactly.
A lot younger. James Reimer's what, 37? I think something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And the way the salary caps work between Matthews and Nylander, not like this is actually going to happen, but they'd be able to bring. It would be a almost straight across trade, adding up those two salaries with McDavid, and then they might throw in a goaltender, because if Toronto wanted the goaltender to build a team around again, right?
Yeah.
Then that would be the one. So, I don't know, that's an option, but I mean, there's also other teams, like McDavid, if you were to get traded, maybe go to Florida. I mean, he'd just have to get 10 11 mil per year, not pay taxes on it, so, and he'd be making more money.
Yeah,
so.
Right, yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, that no tax.
Pocketing more money,
people, right? Yeah. But I don't see him going to Florida.
No.
Has a grudge. He has to have some sort of grudge against Florida now, beating him twice in the playoffs. So
when you can't beat him, join him, man.
I guess that's what Brad Marchand did.
Yeah, apparently, and it worked for him.
It worked for him.
So what's the reality? You were saying that McDavid just wants a cup. Well, then he can't let that kind of thing bother him.
Yeah,
right.
But I don't see Florida going that way there. Maybe with McDavid, they probably would.
Maybe.
But
get rid of Barkov and.
I heard somebody saying a trade McDavid for Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, there you go.
Matthew Tkachuk coming back to Edmonton and Conner McDavid going to Florida.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be
Matt Tkachuk.
I don't see that happening.
No.
Florida's not giving Matthew Tkachuk up, I don't think.
No.
For Conner McDavid? Maybe. Just maybe. But time will tell. Time will tell. Season's coming up on Tuesday, October 7th, and we'll see if Conner McDavid signs a deal by then.
Ooh, yeah.
If not, it will be an interesting season for the Edmonton Oilers. That is all the time we have for tonight. Thanks again for watching Hockey Talks, and we hope you have a wonderful evening.
See ya.